Hello, this is OMI Unfiltered. My name is Jagrati, and I will take you through this issue brief that was co authored by me and my former colleague Rohit Patania. This issue brief is about e autos and how their proliferation can be accelerated in India today. This is an exercise in ecosystem creation, but in a way that the ecosystem already exists. All we need to do is understand it and do more of what is working and also fix the issues that already exist. Now, e autos exist, but they're so rare that you can almost make a wish when you spot one, right? Like we used to do with mail vans. Uh, Also acknowledge that this ecosystem strengthening is a result of a transition and not necessarily an invention. The predecessor for e-autos already exist, so how about we study them? Where would you start then, right? You'd start with the older cousin who has been around forever, which in this case is the auto rickshaw. um, we tried understanding what auto rickshaws mean to India, and as a result, what could e autos mean to India? What do they mean to us? Well, we do consider them fairly Indian, but are they? Atta isn't ours. Batata isn't ours. Tomata isn't ours. Well, I don't know if it's anyone's. Red chili isn't ours. Potatoes came from South America, as did tomatoes. Red chili came from Mexico. And as far as autos are concerned, they could have originated in Germany, but that's contested. But we do know for a fact that there's early evidence of autos existing in Japan. So how did they reach India? It's a different trajectory for India. The version that got popular in India was made by an Italian aircraft designer named Caradino Diascanio. Caradino Diascanio. Really sorry about that. That's probably why Bulbul chalti nahi hai, udti hai. Bulbul could be an auto, aircraft designer, the whole thing. Anyway, the first auto was made by just modifying a Vespa um, and used in Italy to carry supply post World War II. And this might surprise a lot of people, but it doesn't surprise me because I've learned over time that almost everything has something or the other to do with the world wars. Just learn to live with it. It's not going to leave us alone, right? Looks like we liked it and we put a ring on it. But it's interesting to note that there haven't been many design improvements ever since. Well, why would there be, right? It's perfect. Well, perfect for us at least. Therefore, it's a match, right? Turns out we're doing well. These are compact, affordable, efficient. There are nearly 6 million registered auto rickshaws in India, which contribute significantly to job creation across the supply chain, including drivers, repairmen, R&D. Oh, wait, repair fighters. That's the gender neutral words. The market leaders of auto manufacturing also happen to be the leading OEMs of e auto manufacturing, as can be seen here. But here's the thing, this includes both e rickshaws and e autos. Um, they're not the same. They're clubbed together sometimes for records, for administrative ease, but they don't necessarily have to be. Here's the issue, the reason why that should be is because they occupy distinct spaces in the market. Because of their distinct design, they have distinct use cases. So basically, they should be categorized distinctly, right? And they should be monitored as such. But despite that, we're doing well, right? India overtook China to become the biggest market for e autos in 2023. Financial incentives from the government, low operating costs of of electric vehicles could have contributed to this. While overall India is a big market for e-autos or e-three wheelers at large, it is pertinent to see which states are leading. The EV Ready India dashboard reveals that Meghalaya happens to be the leading state in e-three wheeler adoption, which is very cool because it is already happening in a hilly terrain. So one challenge is surmounted at least. Then what's working? We know for a fact that policy factors are working. There is NEMMP, there is FAME, there is EMPS, and several state level policies which could have encouraged various players in the ecosystem to want to do this more. A lot of times, subsidies are a great way to kickstart an ecosystem, but can they contribute to the overall sustainability of it? Well, in this case, maybe, because the cost differentials also work in favor of e autos. Some studies have found that over a 8-year ownership period, the TCO of e-auto rickshaw is 50% less than their ICE counterpart. Similarly, even without subsidies, they are 40% cheaper. But sometimes a policymaker cannot afford to wait for the markets. Sometimes there are external factors, like in our case, it is air pollution, um, that certain polluting things have to be phased out. As we see, Delhi has replaced its CNG fleet with autos by allowing bulk permits to boost last mile connectivity. Fourth is that we tend to get attached to what we did, right? We like what we create. We like something that we consider ours. And this is the interesting part. Like, it wasn't really ours. Maybe e-autos were, maybe e-rickshaws were, but we always thought that this is an example of a jugaad, simply because it fits the bill. But it should not be treated that way, right? Now, there are certain things that can be better. For example, infrastructure can definitely be better. There is range anxiety in people due to lack of it, and um, uneven distribution is a bigger problem than the lack of it. For example, even if we take an area and then just inundate it, like overpopulate it with charging stations, even that's not going to work, because then the utilization rate will be small. What we find is that strategic placement of charging infrastructure is key. Second, the adoption would also depend on how well it is working for an e-rickshaw or an e-auto operator. For that, the upfront cost of the vehicle and the battery has to come down. And in battery, this is one particular limitation that needs to be taken care of, which is the high cost of raw materials. Um, if we can't figure out ways of combating this, the high upfront cost cannot be brought down. If the high upfront cost cannot be brought down, people won't be able to buy it. If they're not able to buy it, we're going to we'll see less of them. Now, what could be better? Now, if the upfront cost cannot be brought down with some kind of financial instruments. Now, for these financial instruments to work, there's a funny quote I heard some time ago. It's not really funny as much as it is witty, which said that a bank is a place where you get money only when you can prove that you don't need the money. That's the irony of credit, right? So, a lot of operators are new to credit, and this might reduce the trust of a lending institution in providing loans to whoever wants to buy one. This, and also the fear of market saturation. We do not know where the market saturation lies, because in absence of unions, a particular auto operator is free to charge you, let's say, 5 rupees, when the other person is charging you uh, 10 per kilometer, just to have that competitive advantage. And in absence of that, one might say, okay, your vehicle is not going to last as much because you're going to make more trips per day, but also you're not going to make the same kind of money you would have made. So this thing, this financial barriers have the power to disrupt in a system which sort of works for now. Then there are the regulatory frameworks. While the incentives and policies are on point, there could be some work required in regulatory frameworks, which means understanding on ground how each stakeholder is affected. How can we lower the upfront costs on the ground level, which has several factors which might need to be factored in. Now, based on this, we have some recommendations, and the link to the report is in the description. While this particular presentation might have told you what we tried examining, but the details are still to be found in report, because I'm sorry, life isn't easy. Just go download the report. Thank you. My name is Jagriti.